Welcome to Your Business, Your Life with Matt DiFrancesco, your personal financial technician. Whether you've had years of success in your business or just starting out, HighLift Financial can help you create a vision for your business, life, and family, and align these for generational wealth. So as they say, what happens in your life affects your business. And now, on to the show. Well, hello, and welcome to Your Business, Your Life with your host, me, Matt DiFrancesco. So, and as always, I'm joined with my awesome producer and co-host, Eric Johnson. So, Eric, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. I'm so excited about today's podcast. I'm not going to unveil what it's all about. I'm going to let you do that, but this is big news, man.
Yeah, it is pretty big news. And, you know, I just came off some renewal time last week, so I'm energized now. I took my son down to back down. He's been up here since June with COVID and working remote. He was kind of stuck down in Gainesville, Florida. So he came up for the summer, and then it started to get extended. Then he wanted to be around during the holidays, but I think the snow and cold weather got to him, so he wanted to go back down. Yeah. So I went back down with him, helped him get resettled, and saw some clients when I was down there. We played some golf, got to spend some quality time with him. So I think it's really good to get out of your environment, especially about this time of the year. And if you're in the Northeast, or I'm sure it's been cold and snowy in your area too, Eric. But it's good to get away. And it's amazing, even though I was doing things and I was conducting business too, just getting out of my environment, I think was really a good thing to help just kind of recharge the batteries. And, I recommend this to all of my clients that, too many times we just keep grinding. We don't even realize when we're getting burned out. So Absolutely. Periodically look and take some time just to kind of step away. It'll help you to recharge your batteries and also help you to kind of refocus where you want to go in your life and in your business.
Yeah, absolutely. We just get locked into a routine. And you've talked about this on previous podcasts that you do this quite often as far as renewal time. And I love the concept. I love what you've discussed before. I know, like I said, one of your podcasts, you kind of dove deep into it. So listeners, if you haven't heard that, go back and kind of look at what his theories and his thoughts are on it, because it's fantastic.
Oh, and it was revolutionary. And I'm one that it's really hard for me to kind of step away and take that downtime. But especially last year and this year, I've made a much greater commitment to doing that. And I'm finding that I'm much more productive, that I'm seeing growth that I haven't seen in many, many years in my business. So just that recharging time is just so vital for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, on to the exciting news. What do you got today?
Well, yes, and you know what? It's I think the big thing is that we're going to see for you out there in the listening audience, and I've talked to many of my clients about that. You're going to see some changes in how and basically how we market and how we brand. So, a number of you have been working with me for many years, and they've seen the evolution of my practice from starting with the Wirehouse. Then going to, becoming an independent advisor through DiFrancesco Financial Concierge, and then we evolved into the Virtual Family Office. And yet, in each of these evolutions, our commitment to you and our families it's never changed. And as a matter of fact, I've really worked hard to just continue to enhance it. Mm-hmm. So now, as we've grown, we've developed processes that have helped our core market, which is the family business owner, to align their business and their families for generational wealth. But what's interesting is, and through this process, I've worked with a number of families in the automotive collision and repair industry. And this group's just like every other family business. They have the same challenges, work hard, but in many cases, they really don't have any avenues planned. And they really kind of get to the point where they're grinders, they move cars through their garages, and that's all they think about. And all of a sudden they get to be in their late 40s, their 50s, maybe their early 60s, and they kind of step back and going, I don't have a plan. I've never really prepared for anything. I've just been busy working. Mm-hmm. And so some of these it's kind of a unique mentality that they have. And as a result, we feel that with our processes that we can provide great value to this group in this industry. So the big change that we've done is we're changing our marketing name to HighLift Financial.
I love that. I really do. I love that. You and I spoke about that a couple of weeks ago when you were kind of saying, hey, this is what we're going to be doing. And yeah. I think that's perfect.
Oh, yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that because that means a lot because I think in a lot of cases, and we talk about the virtual family office and what that means. And and I've worked hard to try to relate that on these podcasts and a lot of my marketing materials, but I still think it only encompasses a small part of what we actually do for the clients. And the question you might ask, and the audience may be asking, is, well, why high lift? Well, if you've ever worked on cars or been to a garage, you know that a high lift, it's a piece of equipment that lifts the vehicle into the air, that lets a technician be able to go thoroughly look over the car, both under, over every aspect of the car to make an accurate assessment of what needs to be done to have that vehicle in perfect working order, and then to do the repairs most efficiently. Now, the mechanic, they will also use the high lift to handle just routine maintenance to ensure that that vehicle runs properly for many years. So whether it's tune-ups, whether it's oil changes, anything like that. So that's kind of the visual that I want to give to the clients, that while we still utilize this concept of the virtual family office, the name High Lift Financial, I think, more accurately expresses what we do for our clients.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Everybody listening to this, most people listening to this own a vehicle, and it's easy to deal with the gas tank, right? You got the door, you put the gas pump in there, you fill it with gas. You can pop the hood. You can add some oil. You can check oil. These are all the things that I do. But when I have to get under my car, number one, I don't want to have to work on anything under there. But number two, there's always stuff dropping in my eyes. It's just unpleasant. And those are the things that I just would rather not have to do myself. And I think that's every small business owner has those things that they're just like, oh, good Lord. If I could just get this off my plate, I could concentrate more on my business. I could grow my business if I didn't have to do A, B, and C. And most of that involves some sort of paperwork, right? The financial end of a business is a pain in the butt. I'm just going to say it. It is.
You're exactly right. It was I've talked to a lot of my clients, and I've talked to a lot of industry experts, auto industry experts. And the one thing these experts were telling me, and even my clients were saying, is the industry has really great technical resources. I mean, great stuff. I mean, you can get all kinds of certifications, so you can learn how to work on the car. But they have almost nothing on management of business and also in financial planning, especially with how that business also ties in with the family. And that's where we look to fit in this piece of the puzzle. Mm-hmm. We're not operations people. We're not, well, I'll be the first to tell people, I can't tell you about how to run your business. But what I can tell you is how we can get your business and your family's vision to work together and create a long-term plan, and also create generational wealth. So if we're looking for our kids to either come into the business or be a part of this vision that they want to have, we can help them to align that. And that's really kind of the tagline that we're using, is we are aligning families and businesses for generational wealth. So we're going to continue to do the things that we always do. We're going to accurately assess what you and your family want in life. We're going to make an accurate diagnosis of your situation and where you currently stand. We're going to work with you to make the changes that you need to so you can most effectively align your business and your family's future. We're going to routinely maintain your plan, and we're going to tune it up when life or your plans change. And then we're also just going to help you to address the wrenches that life may throw at you with the assistance of our team of experts. So, and we've had many of those guests online. So that's where the concept of the virtual family office comes in. Mm-hmm. We still have our team that we can employ when a situation arises that might be outside my area of expertise, but I can still help to coordinate that solution. And whether you're in the automotive repair industry or any other business, we know that life happens. That we had Eileen Graham on as our last guest, talking about elder care issues. We've had Beth Walker talk about college planning. We've had Britt Schrader talk about diversifying cash flow and income streams with your business. I mean, so we've got multiple guests that we've had on this program. So they're still part of the team. But we think that High Lift Financial more accurately expresses what we try to do.
Yeah, no, I think that again, I love the concept. I got to tell you a quick story. I have a buddy of mine that he's kind of a friend of a friend, and he does amazing restorations on cars. And he basically built this truck from the ground up, and he has this huge garage set up. He has his own high lift in his garage. In fact, he has two of them. He uses one of them to store one of his other vehicles above everything else. It's just crazy.
Wow.
But anyway, so we're looking at this truck and just amazing work. Nothing that I could even touch. I mean, I don't even come close. I will do some repairs, but that's it. And so he told me, he goes, yeah, you should totally get one of these. And he was talking about the high lift. You should totally get one of these. It makes it so much easier. And I just dead looked him in the eye. I'm like, no, because if I got one, I'd have to do work on it under there, and I don't want to. That's the whole thing, is that I love what you do, because you take all the pieces with all the partners that you have, with all the folks that you've brought on to the show as guests, and showcased really how deep your bench is. I don't know any situation that you and your team couldn't handle for a small business owner and take off their plate and free them up to do what they do well. I love the fact that you brought up, you don't do operations. Well, that's exactly what the business owner should be doing, or they should have somebody in place hired that can help them with operations at their location. That's my opinion. But, again, if you can not burden them with all these the minutia of the behind the scenes business work or under the carriage business work, man, I mean, that frees people up to actually prosper.
That's so true. I have one guy who's got a very successful collision shop. He was actually a guest on this podcast. And one thing that we talked about was, as his business was growing, HR issues become a major concern. And that was one thing that we worked with him on, was to help him to look for the right person and get an HR person in there. And it took some time for me to convince him that this is a really important thing, because you can't be the HR guy. I mean, a lot of business owners think they can handle all these aspects, but when you start getting into HR is a great example, because it can become so complex, especially in these days, especially with COVID and the issues that you have to deal with protecting your workers, drug testing, all these different things that are out there. It's too complex of an issue. And so that's one area where we've coached some of our clients to be able to look and say, we need to bring an outside person in. I had another one where, with multiple businesses, he was trying to do marketing and sales and administration for both of these businesses. And I'm like, why are you not getting an office administrator that will do this? Because your value is in being the rainmaker. And so finally, I think it took me 2 years, but I finally convinced him to do this. And he's amazed how much more productive he is and how much faster the business is growing now.
Yeah.
So I think these are important lessons that too many times we get very myopic in our thinking, especially as business owners. And that's where we provide values. We get you to start thinking outside the box. We give you an extra set of eyes. Now, you made a comment that was interesting, about the guy who wants to do it himself. And I'll be quite honest with you, Eric, that's really not my ideal client. Because if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you're always going to be questioning what I do. You're always going to be thinking, usually those do-it-yourselfers, they've got it all figured out. And so it becomes very contentious. But where I am looking to help people is those that say, look, this is what I'm good at. This is what I know how to do, but I don't know how to pull the other pieces of the puzzle together. That's what I would say would be my ideal client. And we were talking off air about some of the qualities that I look for. And, the first one is they got to be likable. I got to like them. They got to like me. But the second one, and I think this is very important, is they have to be coachable.
Yeah.
And if they're not coachable, boy, we're fighting an uphill battle.
Yep. I agree. And here's the thing is that Matt, I don't want to speak for you, but I know I can because I know you well enough. For those listening, please understand that we don't think that you can't do all those things that revolve around a business.
Right.
I think both Matt and I believe you shouldn't be doing them. It's not the best use of your time. And so I think that's the beauty of the virtual family office. And I just, as somebody who's worked with a lot of small businesses, we get tied up, and small business myself, I have done my own marketing. I have done my own books. I have done because of need, right? Out of necessity. We get caught up in that, especially when we first start a business, but then we don't know when to let go of those things or to pass them off to somebody else, because it's not necessarily a control issue. I don't think, man, sometimes it's pride for me, I'll be honest, but I think more it's like, I just have to do this. I'm the business owner. I have to do this. Well, when you get to the level where you can afford to hire somebody, to bring somebody in, you need to do that so you can really just grow your business. And I think we just get caught up not making that transition.
I agree. I would also argue that I think we actually wait too long.
Yes.
That we think that we're not in a position to make those hires, but actually because of what our time's worth, we probably should make that. Should have made that change. You know, that outsource much sooner. I do that all the time, and I'm really trying to be focused on that. Like, when do I need to, do I need to let this go now? And sometimes you're looking at the dollars and cents, but I think what I do in my own head is I kind of figure, here's what my time's worth per hour. Can I hire somebody for less than that, that's going to allow me to be more productive, use that hour of my time in a way that's going to be much more profitable.
Yep.
And I think we need to think that way as business owners. So sometimes you got to let go. You probably need to let go earlier than what you think.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So our commitment is still, while you'll see much of our marketing messages being geared toward the automotive repair industry, this by no means mean that anything will change in the way we work with our clients or any other family business owners. So our processes are remaining the same. We've just found a way to adapt it to a niche that we see really needs some help. And this is also going to help us to create a national voice out there in this industry. So again, to kind of be that go-to person for them, because again, like I said, they don't have access to a lot of this kind of expertise. So we just think we can provide value to this group as we can to any family business that's out there. So we're committed to yours and your family's prosperity for many generations, and also the futures of anyone you entrust to us. I mean, we take introductions very seriously. We care about our clients, and if you entrust somebody to us, we want to make sure we're going to give them the same love and commitment that we give you.
Well, that brings up a good question. How do you want that to happen, Matt? If one of your clients is interested in introducing one of their friends to you, or a business associate or whatever, what's the best way to do that? Is it something where you want them to give out your phone number? Do you want them to give out an email? Do you want them to share this podcast? What do you think?
Well, all of the above.
So, do it all.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess it really comes down to what you're comfortable with. If you want to talk to them about me and give me their number and have me contact them, I can do that. If that's not in your comfort level and you'd rather have them make a call, you can do that. What I've found is that, sometimes, even though you get that personal endorsement, making that phone call can sometimes be a big commitment for that prospect that the client is referring. So the other thing that you can do, if you think that that's going to be, that might be a big step for them, have them share the podcast with them. Have them go to our social media pages and see some of the videos that I'm putting out. Help them to start to understand who I am and get a feel for what I'm really all about. One of the things I try to do in all of this marketing is to be as authentic as possible, because I want people to know who they're getting into business with.
Yeah.
So, of course, if you feel comfortable saying, hey, here's the number, give them a call, do that. But if that's outside your comfort level and you say, look, you know what? Hey, check out his website, check out his podcast, check out his social media, so that they can kind of get a feel for who I am and what I do. That's great too. And also our YouTube channel. I think all the content's on there.
And I know that as small businesses are opening back up, and I mean, a lot of them have been open for a very long time, but I know that you'll also go out for coffee or Red Bull or whatever.
Right.
So if you're listening to this going, hey, I've got a buddy that should be kind of listening, set up a time to go to coffee with Matt. The three of you sit down, chat, and hang out.
That's
Lord knows we
exactly
need
right.
more. Lord knows we need more communication in person with people. It's we don't want to be hibernating like bears forever.
Wow, no, you're exactly right, and I think most people they value that, and I'm more than happy. I try to be sensitive to where people are, but definitely, I mean, in person is always the best. I think that's where you really get a feel for people. And look, there's no commitment to that. Even an exploratory call. As I say on every podcast, I offer 20 to 30 minutes of my time, no charge, just to assess your situation. And again, I got to see if there's a fit and if I can really help you. And if I can, great. We might take the next step. If not, I always promise to point you in the right direction. But whether we do that on a call or in person, I mean, I'm an in-person guy. I like meeting face to face. I think that's it's just I get energized doing that. Plus, it really gives me a good feel for the person. But hey, we're all busy too, and and some people are not comfortable even as we start moving through this whole. COVID situation, some people still are not comfortable. So I appreciate that. So I'm very open to any way that people would want to meet.
Yeah, well, one of these days I'll be in your territory or you'll be in mine, and we can definitely go out and get that coffee because
well, we're definitely
we still
gonna
haven't
do that.
done that. So,
yeah. It may be a little stronger than coffee too. So
oh, deal. Absolutely.
So great. So, did you have anything else for me, Eric?
No, really, I'm excited. I'm excited about the, quoting, I'm using air quotes on a podcast, which is super effective. The rebrand, right? The rebrand here of High Lift. Right. And I think it's such a great visual. High Lift Financial is gonna do great things.
Thanks. And that's what we're excited about. Again, one thing I just want to leave the audience with, feel free to keep us in mind for anybody you think can use our help. And for now, we're still continuing to have the DiFrancesco Virtual Family Office website available, dfranvfo.com. And we have our new landing page, which is highliftfinancial.com for client access, for scheduling, and for content. So again, another way, if you want to just schedule an intro call, find out a little bit more about what we do, or talk about maybe your situation and see where we may be able to help, you can go to either place and schedule a time to chat.
Perfect. Thanks so much for letting me be a part of this. This is fantastic.
Well, no problem. And thank you, Eric. I certainly always enjoy our little chats here. And I also just want to thank you, the listening audience. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to Your Business, Your Life podcast with me, Matt DiFrancesco. If you have not subscribed to the podcast, please click on the subscribe now button below. This way, when I come out with a new podcast, it'll show up directly on your listening device. And this will make it much easier for you to share these podcasts with your friends and family, or anybody you would like to introduce to us. So again, thanks so much for listening. And from me and everyone at DiFrancesco Virtual Family Office and now High Lift Financial, make it your best day every day. And we'll see you again next time. Take care and God bless. Hey, I really want to thank you for listening to the Your Business, Your Life podcast. If you want to be notified when new episodes become available, click the subscribe button below.
The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of High Lift Financial. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investment, legal, or tax advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified professional with any questions you may have regarding your business or personal planning. DiFrancesco Financial Concierge, LLC, DBA High Lift Financial, is a registered investment advisor. Registration with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission or any state security authority does not imply a certain level of skill or training.